Have you ever felt as though you needed to have your whole entire life figured out right now? I mean, when we're young, we're often encouraged to consider the same career choices, like being a police officer, a firefighter, doctor, lawyer, teacher, all these different things. And then in elementary school, we would always have these cute exercises and worksheets to fill out that would say, when I grow up, I want to be a chef or something like that. And then whatever career that you picked, we would then draw a picture of us doing that career. And then high school came, and we actually started feeling the pressure to make a decision because we're going to have to major in something in college. And then there was an implied toxicity that you had to have your entire life planned out by college and while you're in college. Hi everyone, I'm Savanna and this is Mental Mondays with Savanna, a motivating, mental cleansing, and energy boosting podcast. I focus on how one can improve their mental health while helping you build a better mindset, better habits, and a better life for yourself. I'm a 15-year-old CEO, a passionate storyteller, and an optimistic dreamer who views the world through a different set of lenses. I came on here to share that unique view with you. My biggest hope is that my videos ignite a spark in you to seek your highest potential and so that you can live a life without limits. Let's dive into it. What do you want to do with your life? How many times have you heard that question before? I think that at one point we've all heard it at least a dozen times from so many different people. And the pressure has definitely been on for us high schoolers and young adults in colleges these days. When we're young and in elementary school, we're often encouraged to consider the same common careers, such as being a police officer, a firefighter, doctor, a lawyer, all these different things. And then we would do these cute exercises on worksheets that would say, when I grow up, I want to be a chef or a firefighter. And then whatever you'd pick, you would draw a picture of that thing while you're doing that career. But then in high school, we really started feeling the pressure to make a decision because we're going to have to major in something in college. And then there's that unspoken toxicity that says we need to have our entire life planned out when entering college and making that transition. People constantly ask us what we're going to do with our lives, and that pressure on all of us is huge and unneeded. In college, this pressure only increases because with a major, now everyone wants to know what you're going to do with it. And this just creates stress and anxiety and can push someone towards burning out. There's a certain expectation that we need to pick a traditional career path, especially when we speak to older individuals and experts who choose a career and stay there until retirement. But the older that I get, the more I realize that there are so many things I want to accomplish in my life. And I have no desire to stick to one career and to be defined by it. And often my friends feel the same way. Some would say that they want to follow their parents' footsteps so they wouldn't let their family members down, or they're forced into a major or a career because everyone else is doing it, and it's the career that will help them the most financially. And I know that there are a lot of people out there that feel the same way as well, like they have to please society's expectation of them. And if that's you, I want you to know that it's perfectly okay to not know what you want to do or to have a plan or for a lifelong career. And that there is time. There's time to look at different careers and to do as we please. No longer do we have to follow the traditional route of getting a job right away and sticking to that one job for the rest of our lives. But I think the real question that we should all sit back and ask ourselves is, what does having your life figured out mean? Most of us believe that having your life figured out means having a stable, well paying job, maybe having a long term relationship, pursuing your passions, and having a healthy life. Well, the problem is when you haven't achieved all these goals, everyone or most people around you perceives you to be a failure. You feel like you aren't doing well enough. You feel like you don't have what it takes to get to where you want to be in life. And the reason why you feel like you don't have your life figured out yet is because you received too much information about what others are doing around you instead of focusing on yourself. Whenever you log on to social media or maybe you're just talking with your friends, you see someone bragging about their new highly paying job or how they have the opportunity to travel the world and pursue their passions at like, I don't know, age 18 or something like that. And the truth is that when we're more exposed to other people's moves, the easier it is for us to go from feeling happy to them to feeling discouraged or maybe envious of them. When you realize that your reality is way different from someone's social media feed, you immediately start thinking, am I not trying hard enough and am a complete failure? Why am I not as successful as this person is? Why don't I have my life together? Why don't I know what I want to do? But let's think about this for a second. If you didn't know what everyone else was doing and with their lives, would you still feel like a complete failure? Will you still feel disappointed since you aren't where you're supposed to be? In this episode, I'm here to tell you that it's absolutely okay to not have your entire future planned out or not knowing what you want to do with your life in general. Knowing what you want to do with your life is a special, unique process that you really shouldn't rush just because others want you to go a certain way. So, how do you stop worrying about your future and how do you stop feeling like your life is just so unproductive? So, the first tip that I have for everyone is also a reminder, and it's just a reminder that you can create a worthwhile future while still enjoying the moment. When we get wrapped up in believing that we need to know what we're going to do every single step of our lives, we often lose sight of the present. I know so many people who are constantly worried about their future. They're afraid that things won't work out then, and then they never get to truly live in the moment. Now, I do understand that we need to think about the future in order to create it. But we can actually do that most effectively when we focus primarily on the present. For example, people who diet or who are doing exercise training, they will often talk in terms of the future and how much and how their goals that they want to set in place for the future. But what if they were to focus solely on the day and what needed to get done that day? And then before they know it, the results would show. This kind of focus, it can be challenging because it requires us to engage in positive habits and positive thinking every single day in order to find the success that we desire. However, when we become conscious of what we must do every day that will lead up to our goals, then we can relax knowing that in due times, the results of our consistency will show. And let me just tell you this, it's definitely okay to not know what you want to do for the rest of your life. There's always this negative stigma that's associated with people who don't have a clear path for their career. But there's nothing wrong with just going with the flow and allowing yourself to grow and develop along the course of your life as you're experiencing different things. Now, I'm not saying that we should just let loose and be spontaneous about everything. And also, I'm not proposing that we should be accurate and strict with our future plans. The thing is, no matter how much we try to plan, we never know how life is going to play out. So the only time that we do know is in that present moment. The moment that you experience right now is the moment that you can control. So you can choose to enjoy the moment, or you can choose to hate the moment. And you can also choose to ignore the moment completely and waste it away. But either way, the present moment is yours to control. And the great thing about life is that you don't need to have anything planned out to unlock a new stage or reach the next level. We should always try to go out and explore many different fields to see what we truly love. And we may need to do this several times throughout our lifetimes before we figure out what works for us. Whether it's working in a remote location, working with children, maybe even becoming a missionary, do it all and see what you like best. I think our society is just become a society that's so captivated by planning, and there's just too much talk of building for the future. But what about building for the now? I believe that we all desire genuine happiness. And in order to manifest this joy, we have to live presently. Too much focus on the future often leads to stress and negative thinking. And at any times, we can always change the course of our lives. And it may not be easy, but all we have to do is continue to put one step forward, knowing that we're creating a change that will bring us more joy in life. Now, the second tip I have for everyone is that everyone has questions, and most of your colleagues and peers are also questioning what they want to do for their future. Simply put, you are not alone in this decision making. You're not alone. You're not the only one who has no clue or what they want to do for their future. Everyone always comes across those questions and those thoughts. And even when people are doing what they want, they still question if they might want to try something else. That's just life. I've never met a single high schooler or college student who had all the answers. And in addition, I've met a ton of middle-aged adults who still don't know the answer to what exactly they want to do in life. We're all still exploring the waters and testing what works out for us. And that's completely okay. But never let your current environment or job define the rest of your future. So just remember that you aren't alone when you don't know what you want to do in life, and you certainly never will be. Now, the third tip that I have for everyone is remember that life is a journey. Make it adventurous and worthwhile. While the destination in the future certainly matters a lot, the path you took to get there isn't any less important. Even if you don't feel like you have your life together at the moment, you're still living your life right now. And the time that you invest in your future is just as valuable as your future itself. You might make mistakes here and there. Maybe you found out that that specific career path that you once were on wasn't right for you. But guess what? Mistakes help you learn. We all make bad choices here and there, but the fact that you can recognize that any one decision you made was not the right one for you means that you learned a valuable lesson for your life. Now, life is all about trial and error, so your life should be spent learning as many lessons about who you are and who you want to be as possible, not worrying for your future and what path you want to take. And then the fourth and final tip that I have for everyone is that worrying takes time. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you should keep exploring and don't settle for anything less. All that time that you're currently spending deliberating over your existential crisis could definitely be put to better use. Discover a new hobby, make some new friends, maybe beef up your resume and just get out there and live. Your future will come eventually, and when it does, you want to look back on your early lifetime and make sure and know for sure that you enjoyed your youth while it lasted. So get out there and just meet new people and do new experiences. Maybe travel around the world for some part of your lifetime, because this will all help you gain different experiences and know what you want to do for your future. But don't worry about your future right now. Just live in the present. So this episode is just a reminder that you don't have to have it all figured out, whether it's your job, finding your talent, or your future in general. But you need to be willing to explore and take risks to find your ultimate path for your future. And then that's when you will live a richer and more meaningful life. Also, remember that the path towards your future is not limited to one job, one career, or one hobby. It can definitely be versatile, so don't trap your dreams or yourself in a box. And the quote of the day comes from an unknown person, but it's very, very powerful. So let me read it. You don't need to have it all figured out to take a step forward. End quote. I think there's this connotation that you need to have each detail splayed out before you can take a step forward, because then it makes us more comfortable knowing that, okay, we're going to do this, this, and this in life. So when we don't have all those things planned out, it's kind of, it worries us a lot, because it forces us to push out of our comfort zone, right? But you don't, I'm here, that quote is here to remind you that you don't need to have it all figured out in order for you to take a step forward. Challenge your comfort zone and be adventurous with your life and explore all these different types of things. And then that's how you will find what you're truly meant to do. And it's only by stepping outside of your comfort zone, you're able to find your true talent. And I know we talked about this in the other episode of leaving your comfort zone in order to find what you were truly meant to do. And then also remember that if you're feeling stressed about your future, always remember that 1, you can create a worthwhile future while enjoying the moment. 2, everyone has questions, and most of your colleagues and peers are also questioning the same thing. They're also questioning what they want to do with their future. So simply put, you're not alone when it comes to thinking about this. 3, life is a journey, so make it adventurous and worthwhile. And 4, worrying takes too much time. You don't need to have it all figured out, but you should keep exploring and you shouldn't settle for anything less. Now, before we leave, I want you to make a list of all the things you feel like you should have, know, or be right now. So make a list of all those expectations that society or family members have set for you. Now, I want you to take some time to consider where these beliefs are coming from. Are they coming from your parents, society, maybe internal expectations that stress you out, that maybe these internal expectations that stress you out always have an external source. So try and figure that out and try and identify them. Next, determine what's really important to you. Out of that whole list, determine what's important to you and use the following questions. Is this career or path really important to me? Who would I really be doing this for? Does this path make me light up inside at the thought of having it? How does it feel to think that I'm not doing it anymore? In the grand scheme, is this really important, or is this really just fluff? And the next time someone forces you into taking a specific path for your life or pressures you into worrying for your future and trying to figure it all out right now, tell them this, that you're figuring one step at a time. And that's perfectly okay, because society should start normalizing this. Thank you so much for tuning in. You just listened to Mental Mondays with Savanna. Make sure you click the subscribe button to receive more positivity every Monday and join the fam. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next week.